The story begins in the year 1944, where a nurse named Hannah was watching a presentation on the soldiers who lost their lives in World War I with her friend Monty. Hannah gets very sad on seeing this. In fact, her husband Norris also went to fight in the Second World War, but now the war is over. Even after this, he never returned home. However, the families sitting with him were very happy that their loved ones were finally returning from the war. Seeing herself alone like this, Hannah runs out crying, and Monty also goes with her. She comes to take care of him and tells him that she has been searching for her husband for the past many months. She has tried everything, but now she has also started thinking that he might not have been able to survive. Apart from him, she has no one else in this world, so with whose support will she live now? Here, Monty calms her down and explains her that she should not worry too much, and all the soldiers haven't returned from the war yet, and since it's Christmas tomorrow, all the people of the show town will decorate the main square together and remember the soldiers who died in the war, so Hannah should go there, and more here, at the main center. There were families, and they were preparing for the Christmas coming tomorrow with great enthusiasm. Now the next morning, when Hannah goes to her nurse duty, one of her fellow nurses, Julia, reveals to her that Frank proposed to her today. In fact, Frank, there was also a soldier who had returned injured from the World War, and it was Hannah who introduced them for the first time. So both of them thank her because of whom they met each other, and they fell in love with each other. At this time, Hannah had a camera with her, so she clicked a photo for them. Looking at both of them, she remembers how she too used to be happy like this with her husband, but now her husband will probably never come back. Seeing her so sad, Julia apologizes to her because Hannah is going through such a bad time right now. And they are celebrating in front of her. However, Hannah says that she is very happy for them, after which Hannah starts reading stories in the hospital for a small child named Toby. In fact, both of Toby's parents are in the war. They were killed, and so now he is the only one left. So Hannah takes care of him. Now Toby gives her an important news that today, after 71 years, a special comet is going to pass through the Earth's orbit, which everyone can see with naked eyes on Christmas Day. The special thing is that this comet passes by the Earth every 71 years, and even scientists have not been able to find out yet why this comet always passes by the Earth. Now Monty will come and give Hannah, Hannah had taken her along with her, and in the meantime, Hannah's camera accidentally fell into the hands of little Toby. He is released, and Hannah tells Monty that she feels very bad to see Toby. Because of the World War, he has no one left in this world, and he will be alone in the hospital, even on Christmas night. Now, after his shift is over, he will go to his home. She comes home, and there was nothing to do there, so she starts looking at her old photos with her husband, when suddenly she heard someone coming to her door, and it was someone's pet dog with a name tag around its neck. And there is also the address, which means that it accidentally ran away from its home. So now, after seeing the address from its tag, she starts taking it to its home in her car. Fortunately, that house was not very far, and the owners of that dog thank Hannah. So she brought their dog with her, otherwise he would not have been able to survive anywhere outside in this cold night. Since it was already very late, they asked Hannah to stay here tonight, but Hannah said that she is from this town, and it won't be too difficult for her to go back, as by now it has started snowing heavily on her way back. Due to which, Hannah started having problems in driving, and now the windshield was also completely covered with snow. Hannah's car finally stopped in a pile of snow, and when it did not start after some time, Hannah has to go to a nearby shed to take shelter in this cold night. At this very time, the same comet was passing in the sky above, which passes near the Earth once every 71 years. Hannah also notices that the comet, due to some strange reasons, the storm started increasing more as the storm passed by them, and she somehow manages to get inside the shed. However, the storm was quite strong, and due to the shaking of the shed, she falls down and becomes unconscious. Now, for a few hours later, when she opens her eyes, she notices that everything outside has become calm, and the next day has arrived and she starts going back home, controlling herself. But after coming out, she realizes that she was able to see anything. Her eyes remained wide open after seeing it. Everything outside had changed very much. Now, modern cars were moving on the roads. Kids were riding skates, and they had smartphones, something that Hannah had never seen before in her life. Hannah gets nervous and starts asking around what happened around them. Why are those people looking so strange? Why are you wearing clothes? Now, seeing her asking such strange questions, some people inform the police that a strange woman has come to their town and is disturbing everyone, after which 2 local officers of the town are sent to investigate, where Hannah was being asked by the other people how everything around them had changed so much that now both the officers came and took Hannah with them because she was stopping everyone on the road and disturbing them. They first took her to the doctor. They go to find out whether she is mentally disturbed or not, because her clothes were also very strange, which no one wears in the present time. Now, during the scenes, Hannah was absolutely fine, but she used to give such answers to all the questions of the officers. Was giving answers as if this world does not exist for her, and on hearing such strange answers of hers, the chief orders that they arrest Hannah and take her to the station, because they neither found Hannah's car at the place mentioned by her, nor did they find her living at the address given by her. Apart from this, Hannah told them that she was stuck in a snowstorm last night, but no one knew about it. He realizes that there was no storm last night, And now the male officer Jake suggests that Hannah seems to be from a good family, and that maybe her brain was affected in an accident, and he will take her home for now so that she can stay safe. That she will always be under his surveillance, and if he finds out anything, he can arrest her at any time. Now Jack reaches his home with Hannah, where he lived with his parents, his sister, and her 2 children, remembers the house and says it used to be Morgan's dairy farm where she always bought milk from. Jake wonders how she knows all this, since his parents bought the property 50 years ago. And then after renovating everything, this house was built. Now it has been 50 years since I heard about it. She asks him about today's time, and Zach reveals to her that it is currently the year 2016. Upon hearing this, Hannah understood everything. When she was hiding in the shed during the storm last night, that comet was passing overhead, and due to that, the space station was damaged. There was a glitch in time. That is why that heavy snowstorm also came at that time, and she somehow reached 71 years in the future, i.e., in the year 2016 through time travel. That is why she also knew that in the morning everything outside had changed, that even if she tells the truth to anyone, no one will believe her, but still, she decides that she will somehow tell the truth to everyone and try to go back to her original time, i.e., the year 1945. Now, Jack Hannah is in her house. He takes them to the police station and introduces them to everyone. Seeing them, Jack's parents and his sister were surprised that why did Jack bring this unknown girl to his house, and Hannah sees that George is also there. It was the same George who had called the police after seeing Hannah for the first time. Now Jack's mother starts getting upset and saying they think that Jack should not help everyone like this. Who knows, this girl is hiding her identity from them on purpose, and after sending Hannah to her room, everyone starts discussing why Jack did this. Jay's sister Louie also says that no one can believe the story that she is telling them, and the details that she was telling them about the past can be found by anyone about this town from the internet, although Jake also requests her to, they should not bother Hannah for now, and he tells his mother that how Hannah, after seeing their property, had already told them that there used to be a dairy farm here earlier, and this detail is not mentioned in any papers. So all this, how would she have known this after hearing? Which Jack's mother now goes to ask Hannah how she came to know the history of their house, but now Hannah was not in the room, and she starts shouting at Jack and telling him that Hannah is somewhere in their house. Actually, Hannah had set out to look for her house, wondering if her house was still the same as before, but surprisingly here too, someone else had opened a shop. Hannah goes inside and sees how everything here has been changed. The shop owner, seeing Hannah behaving strangely, starts suspecting her and quickly informs Police Inspector Jake. She calls him and asks him to come. By the time Jake reaches there, Vonna tells him that Hannah has already left from here, and she was continuously saying that she is going to look for her old hospital. On the other hand, she is on the way to the hospital. She sees that there was no hospital here anymore, but there was a public library built here too. Now Jake reaches there and Hannah apologizes to him and says that she was just curious to know how her house and hospital would be at this time, so she ran away from his house without telling anyone. Hannah further says that he is a good man and he is the only one who believes in her talk about time travel, so from now on she will try every possible way to find out that how will she go back to her home. She further says that she did not know that the world would change so much in just 71 years. Her husband died for his country during World War II. He used to be the hero of Vice Town, but now everyone looks at him with suspicion. Jake tells her that all the things she said about their house are false. Some of it was true, and he too will try. From now on, that together they will find out how she reached this time, from where both of them come back home now next morning. Jackie's worker, Sarah, comes to meet him at home and gives him a bad news. She tells him that their chief is not in favor of Jay's decision to bring Hannah to his house, because if he does anything wrong here, then Jack will have to bear the entire responsibility for it. Jack tells her that actually, according to Hannah, she has come to 2016 by time, traveling from the year 1945, and she has full faith in his words. Now on hearing this, Sahara was even more surprised that Jack is also there, and not just the nonsense about time travel came up in the talk, while in the evening, Jack's mother and sister, Hannah. He gives the clothes of this time because seeing him in old fashion, everyone was noticing him, and now at least she would not be in the public eye. Hannah also had to learn the technology of the times, how phones work with just a snap of fingers and they can get whatever information they want from the internet on a tap. So she stayed with little Gwen and taught her a lesson. She starts learning everything while Officer Sarah and Jack were in the restaurant. Sarah explains to him that there is no such thing as time travel, and Hannah is fooling him and living in his house. Now a mysterious old man hears all their talks. Lee, who is eating nearby, appears to know something about Hannah's time travel, while Jack goes to investigate the shed where Hannah says she has been time traveling to this time. She had come here, and surprisingly, she finds a bag here, which she had brought with her, and probably she must have forgotten it here while leaving. Jack brings it to the police station and starts checking it. He also shows it to Sarah that how would this be the biggest proof that Hannah wasn't lying about telling Jack that she had a perfume in it. The bottle is seen, and Jack searches about it on the internet, where it is clearly written that this perfume was made in the 1940s. He also tells Sarah about it and how this company started selling perfume in the year 1960 itself. The house is closed, so she couldn't get it from anywhere at this time, which means she is telling the truth. On the other hand, Hannah had by now befriended little Gwen, and they started spending a lot of time together. Hannah learned from Gwen that there was an old man named Mr. Cook who converted the old hospital into a library, and he would often tell everyone about the mysterious comet that curves space-time, but when the people of the town started considering him mad, he distanced himself from everyone. Now Hannah understood that only that old man must know how she came to this time-by-time traveling, and how she returned back. But now, as Christmas was about to come, at Gwen's insistence, both of them go shopping. Jack comes back. He also asks whether Hannah is starting to like it here now, although Hannah was still worried because she has been a burden on Jai by staying at his house for so long, and she does not have any solid proof that she can convince everyone. That he is really from the year 1945, Jay says that, but he has full faith in him, and they will find a way to convince people, after which Jack plays old music, which he can barely reproduce for Hannah. Hannah had found and brought him for him, and both of them start dancing together. Meanwhile, Jay's family and his wife Sarah, standing at a distance, were quite surprised to see them. Here, Jack's sister does not trust Hannah, while Sarah herself likes Jack. But now, he also starts to feel that Jay likes Hannah more, and he will never leave her. Later, Jay's mother also tells him that he should stay away from Hannah, although Jack tries to explain to her that there is nothing like that. As they think, while his sister tells that since tomorrow is Christmas, like every year, a fair is going on at the main center of their town. A traditional Christmas celebration will take place and everyone has to reach there on time. Next morning, Sarah also gets angry at Jack that while there is a police investigation going on against Hannah, he is enjoying with her. However, Jack knows that Sarah is doing this only out of jealousy. She is saying this to everyone and he asks her to come to the main center this evening. Now in the evening, everyone comes together to visit the main center where Hannah sees the same house where she had gone to that pad do on Christmas night in 1945. She had gone to drop him off, and the same night the time travel incident happened when Sarah shows them the memorial built at the center ahead and asks if she is telling the truth. Then she had said that her husband was killed in World War II. Since he was killed, his name should also be on the memorial wall in the town, and then they will be able to find out from the records of that soldier that Hannah is telling the truth. Now Hannah is unable to find her husband's name on that war memorial even after searching for a long time. And she comes home and starts crying because now she will never be able to prove her truth to anyone. She is surprised. She was also asking why her husband's name was not on that war memorial. On the other hand, Sahara was also saying the same thing to Jake, that she has proved that she is a liar. She just took advantage of Jake's emotions and started living in his house. Otherwise, why do they not have any record of her husband? Why is his name not on the memorial? Jacob himself was also worried as to how this could be possible, but he was still confident that they would get some proof which would prove it. Neither could she prove herself, but when she came home, she was taking out her old clothes and found a key from them, which was of her old hospital locker. Now she gathers everyone and starts telling them how they all suspected her. She is worried that she might have lied to them, and now she will try to prove herself right and go back to her time. She has got the key to her old locker, and she will go to the same library with Jack and the others. She goes to the old hospital where she used to work as a nurse, but now everything has changed after the renovation, and Hannah starts looking for where their lockers used to be in the old days, and she is struck that there are now racks of books placed there, behind which there is a secret door that no one has been able to find out about till date. But this door looks like a secret door that Hannah had told him takes him straight to the storage room, and in front of everyone she opens that old locker with her keys. After this, everyone started believing that she was not lying. This locker contains Hannah's old decorating items. The items were kept with which she was going to decorate the center of her town for Christmas in 1945, when the library owner, Mr. Cook, comes from behind and says that only he knew that there is a locker under the library. Now Hannah wonders how she came to know her name, and little Gwen reminds her that this is the same old man, Mr. Cook, who used to say that time travel is possible. Now Mr. Cook asks everyone to come with him, and everyone reveals his past to the family about how he lost his parents in World War II, due to which she spent her whole life alone, but in her childhood she was taken care of by a nurse. And then suddenly one day she went missing somewhere, after which no one could find her. And saying this, now she calls Hannah an old friend. The camera shows up, and it is revealed that this is the same old camera that Hannah used to take pictures at the beginning of the story, and she realizes that the old man, Mr. Cook, is none other than the same little boy, Toby, from the hospital. Toby is the one whom Hannah used to put to sleep by reading stories to him in the hospital. Now Toby says that he did research on that comet throughout his life, and he noticed that that comet passes near the Earth once every 71 years. After which, stories are heard from everywhere that some person or the other is claiming to be from some other time. So when the same comet also disappeared in the year 1945, he understood that it might be the same comet. She might have also reached some other time by time traveling, but she did not know which time she went to and when a few days ago. In the restaurant, he heard Sarah and Jack talking about a woman named Hannah, claiming to be from 1945. He immediately realized that it was the same nurse Hannah. Now Hannah asks him if he found out that she was how to go back to the old time. And Cook reveals to him that yes, now, tonight, after a few days, it will be 71 years since that comet passed, which means it will pass near the Earth again, and at the same time, Hannah will be there. She will have to go to the same shed where she was last time, and she will again reach her real time, i.e. the year 1945. Now hearing this, Hannah felt relieved that at least she found a way to go back, and she, the child whom she had helped in childhood, today helps her the most and also tells her that her friend from that time, Monty, is still alive, and she can meet him. Mr. Cook takes her to an old age home. The movie goes to a place where Monty has by now become a body and is suffering from amnesia because she doesn't remember anything, but she still recognizes Hannah when she sees her. Here, Jack also found an old photo from Monty, which was of the same comet that had passed in the year 1945, and on the back of it was written that, isn't it true that on the same day, which was Christmas, Hannah's husband, Norris, came back alive from World War II, meaning he survived, but he never met Hannah again, and he felt that Hannah had left him and was going to someone else. Hannah was very sad to read that her husband returned the same day when she accidentally came to this time, and so now she also understands why her name was not on the war memorial. Because he came back alive, there was no need to write his name. Now Jack reveals to them that the night of the comet is going to happen today, after which the comet will come back again after 21 years, that is, if it is there tonight. If she did not leave this time, she would be stuck here forever. She also knew now that the past Hannah was very happy that she would meet her husband while going there, whereas Jack was sad because he started liking Hannah, and Hannah even tells Jack in private that she will also miss him, but she is married and she has to miss her husband. She also advises Jay to move on with his life and marry Sahara, as she will be perfect for him, and both will remember this meeting as a good time. It is now evening. Na is ready to go into the shed, wearing the clothes of the time in 1945, so that she can go back to the past, and thanks Jack for trusting her from the beginning, till now. Otherwise, if it was someone else, then he would have been sent to jail. And she never figures out how to get back to her time. The two say their final goodbyes to each other and send Hannah to the shed. Jack goes back to his family and celebrates Christmas at the main center, and when Sarah she comes there, and Jack proposes her for marriage. Jack's whole family was now together, and soon the comet arrived. It was time for the lions to leave, and Hannah could hear their voices and was ready to see her husband again, something she had lost hope of. Now Jack's whole family sees Comet, who is much brighter, and it was beautiful. Everyone was nervous, whether Hannah will be able to go back to her time or not. And in the morning everyone gathers and goes to the same shed to look for it. And when Jake and Cook don't find Hannah anywhere, they understand that Hannah has finally returned to her time. I finally arrived, and everyone gets happy when old Toby announces that he had also got the photo from Hannah's old camera printed, and Jake and his family are surprised to see that the photo that Hannah had taken in the beginning of the story is no longer there. The couple's photo was taken by Julia and Frank. They were none other than the grandparents of Jack and his family, whom Hannah herself had introduced for the first time. That is, if she had not been there, Jack and his family would not have existed today. She had reached back in the year 1945 and started removing snow from her car so that she could get out of there. Suddenly she sees her husband Norris coming from behind. Hannah runs and hugs him. She has found him again, the one whom she had lost hope of seeing again, and she makes a request to him. Why? Nor should they adopt the child Toby from the hospital, meaning that now they will raise him together and he will never be alone. With this happy ending, the whole story ends here. So if you liked the video, then like it. Please subscribe to the channel, and thank you for more such videos.